Oh, it's one of the oldest football fixtures. Oh, what? I've got an echo from someone. Hold on. I can hear myself on someone's.
Might be me. So let me try and connect these headphones. And
Let
not
me just. I'm gonna have to just.
try talking. Let me mute.
Hello. Yeah, hello. That's fine. Yeah. So, unmute. Hello. Oh, it's gone. Right. Just try again. Oh. Okay, sorry. Well, it's one of the oldest football fixtures in the calendar, Burnley and Preston, and we are previewing that exact game on Where North End Walk. And we've got our regulars to do that with us. Welcome back, Ash, Harvey, and Etienne. We're also joined by Jordan this week, who's going to help us review what on earth is going on with Preston at the moment. In particular, that performance at Millwall. It's 20 minutes, it's Preston chat, it's all you need to fill your week of misery and mayhem. Welcome to Where North End Walk. Oh yes, it's good to be back talking about Preston being rubbish, because we've had a good time of it recently. Welcome Ash, Etienne, Harvey, and welcome to Josh as well. We've also got Dan in the wings standing by to talk about Burnley and this massive game this weekend. First of all, though, open discussion to all of you. What went wrong at Millwall? Discuss.
Everything. It's really everything. It's just shambles, isn't it? The defense was poor. The setup, especially down the right, we were just giving him the free pitch, and we just seemed to offer nothing.
A lot of kind of like passing without doing anything, and then Millwall were just consistently on the front foot. We weren't really creating much. It's one of those performances we've seen a lot, and it's starting to kind of, the fans are starting to realise that the squad has a lot more issues than we thought.
Yeah, this isn't on Heckingbottom, is it? He's somehow got to get to January and keep you in touch and distance. Is that the new aim, do you think?
I think so. I think we've realised that this squad isn't really cut out for much more than a relegation battle. The defence is so weak. I think Heckingbottom's taking his time to work out what the squad actually is. Obviously, he's not had a pre-season, so he's rotated the team around quite a bit. He's changed a few formations. He's rotating the players around, but I think he's probably coming to terms with the fact that the squad's not actually maybe as strong as he might have thought it was.
Okay. We'll look at some social media tweets and get into it in a second. But Harvey, was that the worst performance for you under Heckingbottom so far?
Yeah, definitely. I think it just stood out for everyone. I think like there was so many moments where we just let Millwall play their own game, and it didn't look like for 1 second we were in the game at all, and it was just way too easy for every single one of them.
Okay. Before we bring our Burnley fan in, then we discussed a couple of weeks ago your dislike of Blackburn, and that's been incredibly well documented. Etienne, what are your thoughts on Burnley? Although they are more or less of a rival, I mean, you have played them more times than any other club.
It's definitely, it's still a very fierce rivalry. I think in recent years it's maybe weakened a little bit just because we haven't played each other when they were in the Prem and we were struggling in League One and the Championship. But now they're yo-yoing about a bit. I think, it's good to have another rivalry, and we still hate them because we want them to do rubbish and we want to be the best team in Lancashire.
Ash, what's your views on it? Is this a we hate Blackburn more derby?
Yeah, so when I was growing up, I always hated Burnley the most. I think aside from maybe Blackpool, but Blackpool were useless at the time. So it was always Burnley was the biggest games. I think in recent years, they've just been a level above what we're at. And it's kind of, the hatred's died down a little bit. I'm sure it'll come back at the weekend. But yeah, I'd say Blackburn, because we've played them more often, has perhaps seemed a bigger rivalry than it actually is.
Okay, let's bring in Dan then. Welcome, Dan, to the North End Walk. How are you?
I'm all right. How are you guys?
We're good, I think. I'm all right. Anyway, I'm not sure this lot. Tell us how the Burnley fans view Preston as kind words as you possibly can.
It's definitely a rivalry. It's not as hot as the Blackburn one. That's the big one for Burnley. I think if you put it in a sliding scale, they're probably second. And then you go towards Blackpool, and then the rest somewhat become not really. It's a Lancashire derby, but that's about it. So it is a hotly contested derby. There is that rivalry, but there's not necessarily the same niggle as it is. You know, if you know someone who's a Preston fan, it's like, who are you, Preston? Who are you, Burnley? So what? Whereas if it's a Blackburn fan, you kind of like, even though he's a mate of yours, you have that underlying little bit of hate. So with Preston, there is that rivalry. It is still one you want to win. You don't want to lose it. But maybe it's like the second Lancashire derby for us, anyway.
Yeah, I mean, you played each other in every level of league nearly. Obviously, except one. Josh, you'll know which league that is, won't you?
Yeah, you know what? There is a rivalry there, but there's a lot of respect for what Burnley have achieved in the last few years. You know, they've done quite well out of all those Lancashire clubs. They've had a decent stint in the top flight. They're yo-yoing a bit now, but I think if we're honest, like the likes of us, Blackburn and Blackpool, especially in recent times, you've got to look at Burnley and be like, fair play for that size of club. They've done really well recently. So, yeah.
Our research says that you played each other in loads of odd competitions as well. The Sherpa Vans Trophy was a legendary meeting in there. The Leyland Daft Cup, Worthington Cup. Yeah,
all the big
classic
ones.
battles. Yeah, going back to 1888. Harvey, what needs to change in personnel or tactics then this weekend as you travel to Turf Moor?
Honestly, I think I'd be happy, to be honest, to see another setup like the Fulham one was. Like, just if you can go there, set up defensively and take a point, I think you have to take it against a side like Burnley. To be honest, obviously, I would much more prefer to see an attacking front. You know, chances created, goals, etc. But especially with the side and how it looks at the minute, I don't think it's very realistic.
Dan, you're not doing very well against sides that come and park the bus. You struggled against Oxford. You only just beat Portsmouth, who came and parked the bus. So this can be another example of a team rocking up and not crossing the halfway line.
Yeah, you get it with all these lower teams. You know, these smaller clubs. They come, try and frustrate you, park the bus, and put 10 men behind the ball. I mean, Preston this season, they've not been setting the world on fire. I think the bottom five. I don't know exactly where you are. And they don't score an awful lot. I don't think you've scored 2 in a game. I'll be corrected on that, but certainly in the league, it's been 1 goal, 1-0, 1-1, or you know, you've been beaten handsomely. So that's all they can do. They've got to come and frustrate us. I'm not saying it's going to be a walk in the park for us, far from it, because we've struggled against teams like he's just said, who come in and make it difficult. So it'll be interesting. I think if they come and attack us, they might get found out. But I think if they come and do what the other teams have done, we have clearly struggled against that system so far. And it could be an ugly, horrible game, one that Sky will kind of wish they didn't put on.
Who do they need to watch out for player-wise, Dan?
All of them. Coley Osho is the hot man. He's the winger. He can play on the left or the right. He'll run at you. He'll try and take a man on. He'll fail a few times, but he's dangerous. He's the main kind of threat that we carry. If you can keep him quiet, you might keep the rest of them quiet. But certainly, if you, he's the guy. He's the main attacking threat. And then you've got others that'll chip in here and there.
Okay. All right. There's some score predictions then, and then we'll let you go, Dan. Etienne, take it for us this week.
I just can't see us getting any shots off, really, not even like a couple. I can see Burnley really coming at us. I mean, I know they've underperformed a bit, like chance creation wise, but they're still up there. They should be one of the best teams in the league. It's going to be 1-2, 2-0 Burnley, I'm going to say.
Right, Dan.
I think it's not going to be a classic. I think it will be pretty low scoring. I'll go 2-1 to us. No, I'll change that 2-0.
Okay, all right. All right, cheers, Dan. Thanks very much for that one. For you at home, we're asking the question: can you name 3 players that have played for both Burnley and North End? GACICC. We'll get this lot to see if they can decipher that before we go as well. Here's Rate My Take on the Millwall game. Sean says, why do we always look for and give the ball to Whiteman? He's an average League One player. He's not Andre Pirlo. Yet he's our captain and plays week in and week out. He makes us worse. And Rayhan says, poor performance, but we move. Just on that Whiteman one, Ash, where do you stand on that? Have you noticed that they seem to be trying to look for that out ball to him all the time?
Yeah, he seems to be the main focus of playmaking, and he just seems to slow the game down every time we have a break and he gets the ball. He seems to look sideways or backwards. I think he's more suited to a slightly more attacking role, but he seems to have got used to just sitting in front of the defence and just passing the ball to whoever's closest to him, which is not creating the chances that we were hoping he was going to do.
Mm-hmm. There was one man getting the criticism following the Millwall game, and it wasn't any of the players or the manager. You can see the theme here. Josh, I want your view on this one. The lens says, get Ridsdale and Hemmings out and half the players. Keep PH as well. Ash says, Ridsdale out, banners tomorrow, anyone? Is it fair he's getting the flack for this?
I think he's always there. It's always who the finger's pointed at, really, isn't it? I think we haven't progressed in the last 5-6 years, pretty much since the glory times of what was a very strong side under Alex Neil. There's a lot of a turnover of the squad since then, and there's just not much to shout about at the moment. So you point the finger at the manager. It's a new manager now, so you can't really call it out on him. I think a lot of the players do need to do a lot better, but then understandably it's just a lack of a strategy. There's no real end goal. It's just very hit and miss. It's just getting from one season to the next. So I understand the frustration at Ridsdale and Hemmings.
But if there's no money to spend in the summer, there's not going to be any money to spend in January, Harvey, as well. So getting on his case isn't unless someone's going to come and buy you out. Is there any rumours around that? Where do you stand on it?
Well, like you said, obviously, I think we all know there's not as much financials in the club as probably as much as a lot of teams in the league. But I think when you're in Peter Ridsdale's position and you have the audacity to turn around and slate the defence when it's your job for recruitment, I think is extremely weird, and it's probably very disrespectful to the club. Obviously, I think Preston fans would obviously dream of a takeover, but I can't see that happening probably ever, to be honest. So we are kind of just stuck, really.
Have you got your banner ready then, Ash?
I have the means to transport it. But yeah, if I think something needs to happen, right? Because the video that's been released is embarrassing. I know it might be a joke or whatever, but if I was a billionaire and someone was calling my business saying it's useless, essentially, then I'd be sacking them. But I just think the mismanagement from the top. I know we don't have much money, but the way he's mismanaging the revenue streams, everything's outsourced. There's essentially no opportunity there for the club to make decent money. I think we need someone a bit more forward thinking from a football perspective, but also from a business perspective as well.
Okay. Etienne, you write about this stuff. What's your view?
Yeah, you can't be in charge of doing the financials and the player recruitment and then make comments like that. It's just not on. I mean, at the end of the day, we know you're responsible for these decisions. To go into to leave the transfer market, and not sign a centre back is one thing. Even though we knew it was already going to be weak, to then slate them after a result, even if it's a joke, it's just not on. And I saw the video, and a few fans were saying, "Oh, it's funny," but it's not. It's a really disrespectful thing to see as a fan, and especially when we've had some just it getting more ridiculous with the transfer decision now. I mean, why did we sign Ockles for $2 million when we needed these players? It just hurts a little bit as a fan, and it's quite disrespectful.
Absolutely, especially including people that have travelled to London, paid whatever it is, 25 quid, 30 quid a ticket, train fare, food, gone all the way up, watched a performance like that, and then to see and hear those comments. All right, then let's see if we can lift the gloom somewhat. Fixtures then around the corner. Watford aren't very good in patches. Especially away from home. The performance at Sheffield United recently was dour. Ash, you wouldn't take a point here, would you? This has got to be go out for all three, isn't it?
The realist in me says a point is good at this stage. But no, I'm not happy with that. I think the game is there for the taking. It's at home, and as we've seen, they are patchy with the form. Cleverly's quite a new manager. I just think that there is a chance to go and do something, but it's going to have to be a complete switch around from the weekend.
Okay. All right then. We'll get your player of the season. Player of the September votes in a second, if you can think of one. Just one final tweet, and I know Ash, you've already seen this. When Osmajevic was subbed on, there was a Blackburn fan that. So I'm getting the echo back again. Nope, all sorted now. Blackburn fans said this shouldn't be allowed. It's an absolute disgrace that he was allowed to play. Awful from the club, and then obviously there's a big pile on from Rovers fans saying we shouldn't be allowed, and Preston should have banned him, and so on and so what. Josh, what's your thoughts on that? Are Preston wrong here to even play him? Should he be suspended during the investigation?
I don't think so. You've got to let the investigation take its course, haven't you? I think we know what the outcome's going to be. We've done nothing wrong in that aspect. The FA have given us the deadline of, Monday, wasn't it, this week? So we've not done anything wrong there. I get where they're coming from, but ultimately it's his last game he's going to have for a while, so we might as well give him some game time.
Okay. Harvey?
Yeah, he's hit the nail on the head. I think if it depends how you look at it. Obviously, I think any opposition fan would be like, it's a disgrace. Preston should take action, all that stuff. But like Josh said, if the FA have given you a deadline and they've allowed Osmajic to play, like I said, we all know the outcome. So I don't see why giving him one last game is that harmful, to be honest.
Ash, your reply to that gentleman wasn't. I don't think it's printable on the screen, but I presume you were not in agreement, shall we say?
I can't actually remember what I replied because I tweet far too much. But I'll put it this way, right? If I'm going to jail on Monday, you can best believe I'm going out for a pint on Saturday and Sunday. So take it as you will.
Okay, fair enough. Right then, we asked you for your players that have played for Blackburn and for Preston. These are a little bit before some of your time, so forgive me, especially I think Harvey and Etienne. So you'll be excused for swerving these ones. Any ideas?
I've got all three, mate. To be honest with you, if anybody else wants to go first,
I think I might have two.
I've got all three.
Okay, go on then, Etienne. Impresses.
I think GA is Graham Alexander, surely.
Yeah, it's definitely Graham Alexander. Yeah, absolutely.
Like legend. I saw him score again. I saw him score that free kick against Charlton. I think that was like my third or fourth game on at North End. Am I right? Does anybody want to do the bottom one?
Clark Carlisle, that one, isn't it?
It's Clark Carlisle, yeah, absolutely, yeah. Central defender who played for both. And CI is probably a little bit more obscure.
Chris Iwelumo, isn't it?
It is Chris Honeyman. Amazing, yeah. Fantastic. Obviously, it's far too easy. Well done if you got those at home as well. Here's a much harder question. Choose a player for the September Player of the Month for Preston. Josh, you go first for us. Give us one name and a reason.
Ali McCann, maybe. Just for his performance against Blackburn. There's no one else that stands out. So yeah, the reason is it's just been him. It's the only good performance I can remember this month. So
okay, Harvey.
Yeah, exactly.
Etienne.
There's nobody else. It's just Ali McCann, and even then, he was okay against Millwall, but I mean, in hindsight, his Blackburn performance probably got us that point, especially the way he was just batting in midfield. And yeah, nobody else. Everyone else has been bang average. So
Completes the set, Ash.
Militin Osmajic, because he rattled the whole Rovers fan base, but that alone gets Player of the Season for me.
Oh, brilliant. Okay. One last question. So the Carabao Cup draw was made, and I want to get your views on the draw. I've seen Preston fans take this kind of both ways. some fans wanted Stoke at home and progress to the next round. Others are more than happy to take Arsenal, who you actually got, because people want a day out, want a big team, and want to see Arsenal again. I mean, you think you've played them recently anyway in cup competitions. But Harvey, where do you stand on this? Would you sooner progress, or would you want a nice day out watching a Premier League side?
I'm 50-50, to be honest. Obviously, like I'm happy it's a big name in the draw. Obviously, given it being Arsenal, I would have preferred it to be away. But I saw some Preston fans saying it was boring. I don't really understand how you can take Premier League runners-up as boring at your own ground, to be honest. But that's just one of them. But it's one I'm not really looking forward to. But at the end of the day, it's a team like Arsenal. They're coming to Deepdale and just got to try your best.
Okay, Josh?
The Carabao Cup's been the only positive from the season so far, so I'm looking forward to it. Under Ryan Lowe, we gave way too much respect to these types of sides. I think it might be different under Heckingbottom. The performance against Fulham was class, really. So I'm looking forward to it. Obviously, a very tough game, but bring it on. Let's have a go.
Yeah, I mean, they're in the Champions League. They're fighting for the Premier League. They're not going to play their full strength squad, but even that might not be enough. Ash, you got your ticket?
Yeah, I've got a ticket. I've not got a ticket. No, the tickets come out tomorrow, or we find out about the tickets tomorrow. Yeah, but I will be getting one. It's great for me. I'm really happy with it. And Arsenal fans must be absolutely buzzing to play against us. Or at least the ones I've spoke to are pretty happy about it. I don't know if it's for the same reasons I'm happy, but yeah, it's great. It's a chance to impress against a good side, so can't really complain.
Okay, that's Etienne. You're going to have the deciding vote on this.
It's just we never get cup draws away. It's so frustrating. We're always playing these big teams at home. I'm happy with it, but it's like, yeah, we played them in 2017 at home. I want to go to the Emirates watching my own football team. So I already know I'm not going to it because I'm not available on that day. But if we put up a fight and we only lose 1 or 2-0 like we did in 2017, then fair enough.
Okay, my view of it is, you're only one game away from the quarterfinals, aren't you? And then you're almost guaranteed a plum draw. All right, good luck for that one. We'll discuss more of that when it comes up. And yeah, good luck against Watford. I hope that we're not discussing any more performances like that Millwall one, because I can't bear this every single week to look at your glum faces. Thank you very much for watching, and do listen in on Spotify or any other streaming services which you choose to listen to your podcasts on. We will see you in 7 days' time, where we'll review Watford and we'll review Burnley. So you've got me at it now. See you next week. Thank you for watching.